14 of the 17 Republican presidential candidates will appear together tonight for the first time. Newspapers in 3 key states organized the forum. They want voters to see where all the candidates stand. Donald Trump will not be there. He leads the GOP field on a new poll with 19% support. Chris Christie, John Kasich, and Rick Perry are tied with 3% each. That is crucial. Only the top 10 will be allowed to debate Thursday on primetime television. Republican strategist Frank Luntz is a CBS News contributor. He's with us now from California. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
So what do we look for in this New Hampshire debate?
Well, they're going to be trying out some of the sound bites because not as many people will be watching, and they're going to get a measure of each other. The difference between Monday and Thursday is that you don't have Donald Trump this evening, and Trump is going to be the focal point. I know that the candidates have been preparing for him. They've been doing various debate prep. They've had people stand in for him, and nobody knows what Trump is going to say and do on Thursday, and that's why I think it's going to be the most watched primary debate in American history.
Wow.
So how will
certainly include us.
Yeah. So that's right. How will his no-show play out tonight? What effect do you think that will have, if any?
People want to know. I don't think it'll have any effect on the other candidates, and they're going to get a chance to express their message. And the difference in format between tonight and Thursday is that each candidate goes individually. On Thursday, they're all going to be lined up, and they're going to have a chance to respond to each other. And of course, the big difference is there's going to be no one with Trump's interest, with his presentation that's going to be on the stage this evening.
On the front page of the New York Times, Jonathan Martin has some great reporting about how Jeb Bush's campaign is delighted by Donald Trump's surge. Has his surge kept those other alternatives to Bush at bay?
It's been very difficult for every candidate. It is as though Trump has sucked the energy out of the room, and you don't get any stories about anybody else. I don't think it's been good for Jeb Bush. I don't think it's been good for any of the Republican candidates because they're trying to draw a very bright line between themselves and not only each other, but also Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. And it's impossible to do if the focus is just on Donald Trump and all the things that he's saying.
So what came out of the Koch brothers weekend?
I actually am going to be speaking there in a couple of hours, and I'm going to be curious to ask participants what they thought. I know that Carly Fiorina, who will not be part of the debate on Thursday night, that she was definitely a favorite of the people who were there. You know, everyone is trying to size up these candidates, and what's interesting about that Koch conference is that they're not looking at each other based on who is more intellectually pure or who's a better speaker. They see these candidates versus Hillary Clinton because they're so eager to have a replacement, a philosophical replacement in the White House, and they want to try to figure out who's the best person, who's the best candidate for that job.
And Donald Trump was not invited.
He was not invited, no.
So how important is an endorsement of the Koch brothers to a Republican candidate, Frank, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's the Koch brothers, and that's one of the misnomers that people don't realize, that there are 400 or 500 people who are attending, and these are small business owners, very successful people, most of them first generation. And this is kind of the American dream that's all brought into one place at one time. They all have different candidates that they support. The one thing that they've got in common is that they're all about economic freedom, and they're looking for a candidate who's going to support less rules, less taxes, less government spending, less government involvement, and more freedom. And they split. They split over a number of different candidates.
But, Frank, it is true that a lot of the candidates have been making stops to meet with the Koch brothers, hoping to get their support because their financial support could mean a lot.
Well, you know, there's a lot of money in politics. That's very true, Charlie. And there's a lot of money in politics on both sides. But there's no difference in going to see people who are in that room versus those who go to the AFL-CIO or those who go to see the teachers' unions. That everyone who's running for president is desperate for 2 things, money and airtime. You cannot win a presidential campaign without having both.
All right. Thank you, Frank Luntz. It certainly looks like a laid-back California scene where you are. Thank you very much.
I love this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Me too. Thank you so much.